With only 5 dates left in John Cena's farewell tour, and one of them already confirmed to be a match against AJ Styles at Crown Jewel, what will John Cena do in his final 4 dates? Is he going to have a match on those Monday Night Raws? And I'm assuming he's going to be in the Survivor Series War Games match, but what is he going to do on his final match? In this video, I'm going to go through 5 possible people that John Cena could actually face come that time. Let's get into it. Starting off first as the person I see less likely to happen because he's on Smackdown, but it's still a possibility out there, is Drew McIntyre. I would love to see Drew McIntyre be the one to retire John Cena because we haven't even seen them have a face-to-face yet or anything like that. I would really love to see Drew McIntyre actually have something to do in John Cena's farewell tour. I mean, Logan Paul had a ton to do. I mean, he basically took up the majority of the summer with John Cena. Now, I'd kind of love to see something a little bit different for Drew. It has Drew do something else for the time being, you know. Obviously, this is down in December, so there's some time before this actually happens, but I feel like this is a good way for Drew to pick up some steam again, for Drew to gain some respect that he may not have had for a while. I mean, it feels like all the respect that Drew had gained over the past year, it's kind of gone away with the way they have booked him, so I'm just hoping that maybe Drew can actually use this as a stepping stone to something greater. I feel like Drew has just not clicked with anybody recently. It feels like Drew is just off doing his own thing and not really, you know, feeling like the guy anymore. And he was the guy like around a year ago, but now it's like he's not the guy anymore. And it's unfortunate because, as everyone can tell, I mean, I wanted Drew to win at WrestlePalooza, and I know a lot of you did too. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate that did not happen, but yeah, it's unfortunate that Drew needs this now, but I honestly would say Drew kind of needs this. I mean, he needs something of value that can really elevate him a little bit more, because yes, he's been a world champion and all this, but a lot of that was done during the COVID era, and then when he finally won a world championship in front of a live audience, it was at WrestleMania 40, and that's when Damian Priest cashed in like 5 minutes later. So Drew has yet to hold a world championship in front of a crowd. It's long past due at this point, and it would have been a perfect opportunity for them to pull the trigger at WrestlePalooza, and I don't know why they didn't, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, though, I really do feel like Drew McIntyre needs something to kickstart him again, and what better way to do that than to be the one to retire John Cena. Now, 4th on my list is Braun Breaker. Honestly, this one makes a little to no sense to me, because the problem with this one is that Breaker, I feel like, is going to have a regular match on Monday Night Raw, if anything, because of somebody else I'm going to have on this list. But yeah, it really makes no sense for Braun Breaker to be the one to retire John Cena when Seth Rollins is the leader of the group. It's almost like Seth would want to be the one to do that, but either way you put it, maybe Seth sends Breaker to do it. I have no idea, but whatever the case may be, yes, Braun Breaker could easily use this to elevate him. I mean, it sounds like they're already talking about having Braun Breaker versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 42, and what better way to kickstart Braun Breaker into that little run towards WrestleMania than having him beat the one that Brock Lesnar basically laid to shreds. And I'm not saying John Cena should have a squash match in his final match. Hell no. Let John Cena really show out in his final match. Let him have a great final match, and Braun Breaker will be put over a ton by it. Braun Breaker is a young talent. Everyone says he is the future of WWE, and yes, he probably is. I'm not kidding. He is great. He is a fantastic worker, and he could easily use this. I mean, he hasn't had much big things in his career just yet, so having this for him would be huge. Him being the one to be able to do this would be huge. And now, I really would think this would be a perfect opportunity, though, for him to use this as a stepping stone to Brock Lesnar, because that has been being talked about, which is kind of insane already. That's already being talked about, but I mean, Brock Lesnar is probably just like Cena. He is very close to retirement, so it's like they want to use Brock while they still have him. Perfect way to put somebody over in Braun Breaker. Now, I'm not saying Breaker's going to win the match or anything, but it doesn't matter, honestly. You're getting the rub, and that's all you can ask for. Either way, though, Braun Breaker could use this, and most young talent could use this. I mean, this is a fantastic rub for somebody that is an up-and-comer and could easily use it. You know, there's no world where Braun Breaker couldn't use this. This is something that could easily happen, and I could very well see them going with, because of the fact that Lesnar and Cena already had a match at WrestlePalooza. So yeah, Braun Breaker I think is a very big, name. This is just in order of who I'd want to see be John Cena's final match, but honestly though, this easily could go to either one of them. I mean, or this could easily go to any of the 5 in this list. I mean, seriously, Braun Breaker is a great option. I'm not kidding. Third, I have Seth Rollins. Now, hear me out. A lot of people are going to be upset about this one in the sense that Seth Rollins does not need this rub, and you're right, he doesn't. But it's the sense that you have somebody credible be the one to actually do it, Now, I'm not saying Breaker is incredible, because Breaker is credible. But Drew, he's credible as well. But there's people like a Sheamus that I'm leaving off this list, and I'm hoping maybe he'll get a match on Monday Night Raw, like in the other 2 Raws, but I'm leaving him off this list because at the end of the day, I don't want Sheamus to be the one that, retired John Cena. And I'm also trying to make this a little bit realistic where there's not as many SmackDown superstars on this list, because at the end of the day, Cena's no longer on SmackDown. So these are going to be primarily Raw superstars, and out of all of them right now, I mean, Seth Rollins is the biggest heel, and I'm assuming they're going to go that route where it's just a heel facing him, I mean, what better way to do that than have people like John Cena in his final match? So yeah, that's going to happen. So I have a feeling it's going to be it's going to be Seth Rollins, and this is a good one in sense of it puts Seth over, even though Seth doesn't really need it, but it allows Seth to have something like that under his belt where he can pull that out in a promo here and there if he needs to. Like, I was the one to retire John Cena, not you, type of thing. And he could use that as ammunition down the line. Again, Seth doesn't absolutely need this, but at the end of the day, it wouldn't hurt. It really wouldn't hurt. And unfortunately, they've already explored all the options we would have loved to see for this match earlier in John Cena's farewell tour, so it's like Seth is one of the remaining ones that we have not seen just yet, so this would be a perfect one to see, and why not? Unfortunately, I would have put Roman Reigns on this list, but there was a more than likely chance Roman Reigns is in the War Games match with John Cena, and he's a face right now, so it makes little to no sense for Roman Reigns to be the one to retire him, but it makes more sense for it to be Seth Rollins. So, because at the end of the day, Cena's probably going to be facing Seth Rollins in the War Games match, and now he's going to get the official retirement match at Saturday night's main event. And maybe they make it for the World Championship. So, granted, they don't need to do that, but at the end of the day, maybe you do. Career versus title match, even though we all know that's John Cena's final date. But whatever the case may be, maybe they pull something out of their hat where Cena just wins and relinquishes the championship. Who knows? I wouldn't be opposed to that either, but there's a lot of things that could happen with that I'm not opposed to actually seeing, because again, it's up in the air at this point. I mean, there's not a confirmed person for this match yet, and this is what makes it so interesting. Next, now, number 2 and number 1 on my list could go either way, but I'm going to make it in terms of who I would love to see to be the final person, and who could easily benefit a lot from it, and that being number 2 being Dominic Mysterio. I think Dom could easily use this. This is going to be a great stepping stone for him, and it's already been in the talks that apparently Dom is being tossed around as a name that we could see in these final 4 matches, and that we should see. Now, he could easily have a match on a regular Monday Night Raw for the Intercontinental Championship, and that's fine. Maybe you do that. Dom has a match on the first Raw, Cena wins, becomes a Grand Slam champion, and then Cena faces Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship, and Sheamus beats him, so then Sheamus can become the Grand Slam champion. I could easily see them doing that, something like that, but because Dom's getting to the point where he doesn't even need the Intercontinental Championship anymore, so what better way to have somebody like a John Cena be the one to beat Dominic Mysterio? I mean, that'd be perfect. It gives Dom the rub, And even though Cena's winning, it's John Cena. Come on, at the end of the day, it's John Cena. So it's more believable than somebody like a Rusev, where people are probably not behind that at the end of the day. So letting Dom just hold the title for a little bit longer so then he could hold it and give it to John Cena, I wouldn't be opposed to. But if that doesn't happen, Saturday night's main event is a perfect spot for this to happen. Now, whether Cena wins or loses is up at debate, because if he wins, he does become a Grand Slam champion in his final match, and he relinquishes the championship. I could easily see him doing that, and that'd be a great alternative. I wouldn't be opposed to that either. So at the end of the day, though, I had to include Dom on this list because he's somebody I really would love to see be in one of John Cena's final matches. And if it is his absolute final match, I think it would be a great option as well, because just like Braun Breaker, he is a young talent who could use the rub, who could use something like this big thing to, get over and have it as ammunition in his bag, where he'd be like, I'm the one to retire. I was the one to retire John Cena. So, it's there, but just leave it up in the air. I don't know. It's a great opportunity for them, and I really do believe that Dom is a great option. He really, really is, and he has history with Ray, and somehow maybe Ray gets involved in this. I have no idea, which would be awesome, but we'll just have to see if this is actually something they do. And last but not least, you probably guessed them, I have Gunther being the absolute one to retire John Cena. Now, Gunther has had a solid career for the most part. He's been champion for like 80% of his time in WWE, which is insane. But his Intercontinental Championship reign is the most memorable, but at the end of the day, people do not, when they think of WWE, they do not think of Gunther. Now, this is a great way for them to start thinking of WWE. Who was the person to retire John Cena again? Oh yeah, it was Gunther. Gunther is a fantastic option for this, and honestly, I feel like there is no better option. But as I said before, this is one that could be interchangeable with number 2. It could be Dom or Gunther. I'm okay with either one being the one to do it. But Gunther, I think, is the one who absolutely needs it the most out of any single one in this list, or anyone on the entire roster. I think Gunther needs it the most. Gunther needs something to get back on track. He needs something to make him look like a credible opponent once again, and obviously he's still out with his I think he was getting like nose surgery and shit, so he's gonna probably be out for a little while, but maybe they reintroduce Gunther come that time. I mean, Gunther had a long time reign as champion and then champion again, so they're probably gonna give him a little bit of an extended break here. So what better way to reintroduce Gunther than after Survivor Series War Games, and maybe Gunther comes out and chokehold Cena while Cena's like staying behind in the ring or something, and then that introduces the match for John Cena's final match, and then we have it. I think having Gunther though be the one is fantastic, and maybe and honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to Gunther winning the match. Cena doesn't need a win. It could be another Goldberg. Cena can be the one, or Gunther can be the ones to retire people. At the end of the day, the Goldberg one, I'm just going to be honest with you, I'm not going to remember. It's not going to be memorable for me, but maybe the Cena one will be, and that's a good one. Having John Cena under your belt as somebody you retired is a great thing. So I really would love to see maybe it be Gunther. Gunther is somebody who deserves a push, something better than what he has gotten, unfortunately, with Jey Uso and everyone else like that. But yeah, give it to Gunther. I don't see why you shouldn't do that. Gunther is a fantastic option for this. And that concludes my list. Now, I would really love to hear what you guys have to say about it down below, if I missed anybody, and if maybe you would include somebody from Smackdown, like I even missed Jacob Fatu. As I said though with Drew McIntyre, Drew is one that is a heel, and is more likely that a heel is going to be John Cena's farewell match. And whether or not they turn Jacob Fatu heel again, that's up in the air. I have no idea, but whatever the case may be, I think my list is pretty solid. But again, I would love to hear what you guys have to say down below in the comment section, so leave your thoughts and comments, what you think about my list, who would you add, who would you change, let me know down below. And until next time, see ya.